And he joins us in the new year on the Harbor One hotline. Hey, Boomer.
Hey, good morning and Happy New Year to everybody. How are you guys doing?
Doing great. Same to you. How were the holidays?
Everything was great. I had a nice 5 days off. It was very quiet and very, just very tranquil. And now I'm back in the seat, and Jet fans are going to be pissed off this morning. So I'm back to normal.
Didn't have a chance to thank you for the Christmas gift. I know Wiggy was not impressed, but
I actually thanked him.
Personally, I really enjoyed it. I beautiful bottle of wine, and as always, you're a classy guy, Boomer.
Well, I appreciate that, but Wiggy did say thank you.
Oh, he did?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, okay.
My wife enjoyed the wine and candle,
She did.
Yeah,
which then led to a good night for me.
well, there you go, Wiggy. See, I'm helping you out today.
Appreciate it, Boom.
All right. It was more like the Patriots' offense than the defense, but we won't talk about that. I'm talking about the overall performance. That's what I heard.
I'm an elite quarterback.
But speaking of that, anything that you saw when it comes to our Patriots on Sunday that leads you to believe they have a chance to win this game?
Well, it depends on what happens tonight between the Bills and the Bengals. If Josh Allen gets out alive, then the Patriots season is probably going to end next week. Look, anything can happen in the NFL. We've seen this now within a 2-week span. So much has happened, and already we've seen, losing a quarterback, for an extended period of time and what it's done to the Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, they're a mess. And you saw it yesterday. You had Teddy Bridgewater. He gets hurt. Skylar Thompson has to come in, and Kyle Duggar picks him off. Next thing you know, the Patriots swing the momentum, and the game is over. So much rides on the quarterback, so much rides on that player that is the dynamic player that is going to keep his team in every single game. And quite frankly, if Josh Allen is upright after tonight's game and they have momentum going into the game next week, and they're going to need the game next week, whether they win or they lose, because they'll be fighting for seeding, and the seeding will not come to fruition until we hear and see what happens to all these games. I think it's going to be a very, very difficult task for this Patriots team to go into Buffalo and win the game.
Speaking of Miami, who's to blame for the Dolphins' collapse?
Well, I mean, look, their quarterback situation has been a mess. When Tua is right and he's 100%, they're a pretty special offensive team, and that's one of the reasons why they went and got Tyreek Hill. The whole inconsistency of whether he has a concussion, doesn't have a concussion, should he play, shouldn't he play, the discussion around all of it is probably frustrating as hell from a football standpoint within the building. And quite frankly, everybody wants to say that, we see him as a human being first. Of course we do. We want him to be healthy. We want him to live a long and healthy life. But we also need to have an answer as to whether or not we have a legitimate starting quarterback. And when he is healthy and he's on his game with that group of receivers, I would say, yes, they have that. But with the inconsistencies of, with all the different machinations of whether he has a concussion or he doesn't, creates an awful lot of problems for their offense, and certainly we saw that yesterday.
Knowing what you know and playing as you did, would you play again if you were him?
I would. I want to play. I wanted to play, and I know that I had 3 or 4 concussions. I don't know how many you had, Jermaine, but I had a bunch, and I went out there and played within the game that I took those concussions in many instances. In one instance, I missed the next 4 games, and I think I was the first player ever put in concussion protocol in 1995. I think that's an accurate statement. So, but listen, we're players. You got to protect us from ourselves first and foremost, because we all want to be out there. And I know Tua wants to be out there. He doesn't want to be, a problem for the coaches. He wants to be a solution. So I saw what happened to the Jets when Mike White went out and he tried to play at 75% yesterday. He was awful. And that's why this position is so important, to make sure that you have that guy. But you also have to have patience with that guy. And that's what I would say with Patriot fans. Mac Jones took them to the playoffs last year. It wasn't pretty. This year he got them to 8-8, or partly he got them to 8-8. And now they have to play a really tough road game at Buffalo. And this is the type of game that if he wins, maybe he'll win over Patriot fans. But, this has been like a slugfest for the last 2 years for their offense. And maybe some changes are coming down the road in that regard.
I think we can finally take you out of protocol, because you've gone the whole season without calling Courtney Michelle like you did with Danielle. So
I'm honored.
I think you're cleared, Boomer. You're cleared.
Well, I appreciate that. That's good.
Boom. When you start to look at things and kind of potentially how they might unfold here, is it possible, just to win a championship, but even for the Patriots to be able to beat Buffalo, is it possible for you just to be a defensive-led team and be able to win against a good football team, or is it just the fact that the Patriots have been lucky playing some bad quarterbacks?
I would say yes when it comes to that because of the San Francisco 49ers. And even though yesterday they gave up as many points as they did to our old friend Jarrett Stidham, which he looked unbelievable yesterday, and they didn't miss Derek Carr at all. So maybe Josh McDaniels knew a thing or two. And what Josh did yesterday, he basically asked Jared to run with the ball a little bit more because Derek Carr never runs with the ball, and certainly that was a big reason for it. But I still say that the 49ers have the best defense. When that defense is healthy and rocking and rolling, they're good enough to win a Super Bowl. There's no question about that. And I think we always hear the phrase, defense wins championships. So I believe that there's something to that. And, getting another interception on defense and returning it for a touchdown and scoring their 7th touchdown of the year, that's an amazing statistic when you think about it. It doesn't happen very often. So they're going to have to be – everybody's going to have to be healthy. Everybody's going to have to be playing their best game. And, Buffalo next week is, like I said, is not going to be easy.
Boomer, I didn't get the chance to ask you after the Patriots-Cincinnati game, but during halftime of that, you were pretty vocal about wanting the Pats to sit Jones and play Zappe. Do you stand by that? And what led to you being so frustrated to want them to make that move?
In that moment I did, Courtney, because I've seen it around the league where coaches will – change and see if they can actually bring some energy to the team. The team looked really flat to me in that first half. I looked like a jerk in the second half because they actually came back and they played tough, and we all know how that game ended. They had a chance to win it if Stevenson doesn't pummel the ball, but I just felt like I couldn't believe what I was watching. I couldn't believe how flat they were and how listless Mac seemed to me. He was not playing a great game, and they were down 22-0. And the other guy on the other side played almost a perfect first half. So when you watch Joe Burrow do what he did, and you watch how Mac Jones and his offense was playing, that's one of the reasons why I thought maybe a spark to start the second half. So, these are things that every coach has to deal with on a daily basis. They don't like to mess around with quarterbacks, especially when they feel like they got their quarterback, their number one guy. So while as being an analyst on TV, we can say things that, jog the senses of the fans watching, I felt pretty secure in feeling like they needed something to happen in the second half. And to their credit, they did. And to Mac's credit, he did too. But I just thought that Bailey Zappe would have brought a little bit of energy had he gone in there.
But even in the game yesterday, it seemed like in the middle of that one, Mac lost that any type of spark. And I know people that were at the game were saying people in the stands were getting frustrated with him again. What is it about it? Is it the offensive line struggles, or is it Mac Jones? Does he just not have it in New England?
Okay, so here's the thing. Yesterday, I felt like in the first half especially that he was under constant pressure. He was getting hit a lot. And I felt like he got frustrated. Here's the thing that I really dislike about Mac Jones, if you want to get to the root of it. His body language, his facial expressions, his gyrations on the field piss me off. All right? There's a douchiness to them. I don't know how else to explain it. I don't know how to explain it.
Pretty accurate.
And here's the deal. Tom Brady can be douchey too at times, and he can be yelling at his players and everything else. But Tom Brady then goes out and backs it up. He goes and plays his ass off, and he gets his team to the playoffs again yesterday. So all I'm saying is that I don't necessarily know that he's earned the right to act the way that he does at times, like frustrated, looking at the coaches and screaming and yelling and, putting his hands to his head. I mean, body language for a quarterback is so important. And I hate when quarterbacks sulk on the sideline. They have to be above all of that. They have to have the backbone. They have to have the leadership bone. They have to be able to look guys in the face, know what they're doing. Don't come off with your hands in the air. And, I hate like when wide receivers do this. When Jermaine used to drop passes, he'd get up and he'd like clap his hands and go, damn, that's my bad.
Right.
And then when, if somebody threw the ball over his head, he'd go, damn, that's your bad. And he'd point at the other guy.
Never show up your quarterback.
And that's what I say, Jermaine. But your quarterback now is showing up everybody else, which I hate that as well.
Yeah. By the way, also trending in 10 minutes, Boomer Esiason says that Mac Jones is a douche.
I didn't say he was a douche. I did not say that.
Douche move and being a douche, very
douchey.
different.
He has douchiness. He has douchiness on the field is what I said.
Keep that up. You're going to win a Marconi. Let me tell you.
There you go. Perfect.
All right. The question.
But you asked me my opinion. I'm giving it to you.
I like it. That's why you're here.
That's right. And this is something he's got to learn. He's got to learn how to carry himself as a starting quarterback of one of the premier franchises in this league. That is, I want to take these kids sometimes and take them to leadership school and teach them everything they need to know about how to be a effing leader.
I love it.
And how everybody on your team, can learn to respect you the way that you carry yourself, especially in adverse situations.
Question of the week for Boomer is brought to you by McFarland Energy, the always reliable HVAC and home oil delivery pros at McFarlandEnergy.com. 1 week left. Who are currently the two best teams in the NFL?
I'm going to say right now, I think it's San Francisco and Buffalo are my 1 and 2. I would say Buffalo's number 1, San Francisco's 2, and then I would go Cincinnati and Kansas City. Those 4 teams are the best 4 teams. And if the Philadelphia Eagles, who, by the way, haven't been very transparent with Jalen Hurts' injury, don't get him back playing at 100%, they're in trouble.
All right, Wiggy has one more.
Yeah, last one for me, Boomer. And I don't know if this is even possible, what we're looking forward to next year. Is it more about, obviously, a new offensive coordinator, but when you bring up those teams that you just brought up, every single one of them have an elite playmaker. What is more important for Mac Jones if you can only choose one of the two?
Well, he's not an elite playmaker. He's your stand in the pocket, kind of read the defense.
No, but I'm saying
get him one.
I'm getting one as far as wide receiver,
Get him one.
I think you want them both. I mean, first of all, you definitely need a coach that understands you as a player and that you believe in and knows offense and knows how to call plays. Early in my career, I had that. My offense coordinator was Bruce Coslett. My head coach was Sam Weish. They knew how to get the best out in me, and they did bring the best out in me. There's no question about that. So I would just say, that's first and foremost. You got to have somebody that connects with the quarterback, and then you got to add the playmakers around them. They got a solid running game. They're always going to have a solid offensive line. But, let's face it, it's not Daniel Jones' level of skill set. I mean, the guys that he's playing with are brutal. But I would just say that, Mac Jones doesn't do what Daniel Jones does. Daniel Jones runs with the ball. He ran for 95 yards yesterday. So he's a dynamic playmaker in the sense of he's an offense that utilizes, many options because of his athleticism. That's not who Mac is. So I would say, they don't have Rob Gronkowski. They don't have Julian Edelman. They don't have Wes Welker. They don't have guys like that. But certainly, maybe there are a couple guys. Maybe this Tyquan Thornton will turn out to be pretty good. So hopefully they grow together and they get their act together next year offensively. So you don't have to go through another year of just watching what I would call about as boring a level of football as it possibly is.
All right, Boomer. Great talking to you.
I did not, by the way, I did not call Mac a douche personally. I just said he's as douchiness tendencies on the field is what I said.
That's not what we're putting out right now, but that's fine.
Tomato.
Put words in my mouth.
Okay.
I know you clickbait sons of bitches.
Yeah. By the way, Winter Classic at Fenway today. Who do you like, Bruins or Penguins?
I hate them both. So.
All right, Boomer. We'll talk to you next week.
I'll be watching, though, but I hate them both.
Talk to you next week.
See you guys.